Well, good morning. You're listening to the Conscious Living Show. Good morning, babe.
Morning, dear.
So we have some hot topics for you today, don't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we like to stir things up. You know, my whole premise for doing this show for the last 10 years really has been if, we sometimes can get complacent and not really pause to think about what we're doing, why we're doing it. We get a little bit unconscious.
Right. We want to be logical.
Yeah.
Math rules.
Math rules, but also we want to get real. We want to own our own stuff. We want to take responsibility. We want to learn. We want to grow. And we want to just figure out ways to live a better, happier, healthier life. And so this whole show is about that. So today we have some hot topics.
Absolutely.
So the first one we're going to start with is one of my favorite topics.
A general topic.
A general topic.
She never hardly ever talks about it.
No. We want to talk about the word feminism and what that means and what that triggers for people, because I do a lot of conversations with people all over the world, and feminism can definitely have some different triggers for people. How does it affect you?
Sometimes it sounds competitive instead of more descriptive, I think. I think we're trying to move into a world that's a little bit more kind and gentle. The need to go to war, we're hoping will decline as time goes on. Mm-hmm. And so it's okay to get rid of some of that testosterone and kind of soften up a little bit, I think.
Do you think so? I mean, I don't think that feminism is asking for men necessarily to change who being a man is. I think women, the whole point of feminism is to have equal opportunity and to really receive the same human rights as men have enjoyed since the beginning of time.
So we're going back to the competitive side of feminism.
Well, it's not competitive. No, we're not competing for human rights. There's no competitive for human rights. You have human rights. We have not enjoyed human rights. All we want is the same rights that you have. It's not taking anything away from men. It's just enjoying the same freedoms that men have enjoyed. So
the movement is equalityism.
Equalityism, egalitarianism, humanism. I mean,
So why do we use the word feminism then?
I don't know where that word actually started. I think it was because it had to be a feminist movement, just like it's a Black Lives Matter. It's we have racial movements because there are groups of people who are held back because of the group that they belong to, whether it's a color or a gender or a sexual orientation. We still have a lot of discrimination in our world. And so when you take a whole group and you block them from having human rights, you're going to get a movement, because now those people have to band together. Because individually, women have been trying to find equality, but that doesn't change the laws. That doesn't change the rules. It might change in your relationship, but that's not where it really matters.
Well, certainly in some countries it's more difficult than others in terms of legal equality. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think it's under the law. It's under the the recommendations of what people can get away with and how they're treated. I mean, it was just at the turn of the late 1800s into the early 1900s, women weren't their own property.
No, I understand that. What year is it now, though?
Well, but how long have humans been around?
Well, yes. No, you've come a long ways.
Okay. So
the
fact that we're still having to fight for these things, I have to tell you, just pisses me off, because why are women still having to fight for equal rights? Why are Black people still having to fight for equality? We're all human beings. The only group that has not had a movement to fight for equality has been men, particularly light-colored men. And that's because they've always had the rights. They've always had them. Why fight for them? I mean, there's so many ignorant men out there who say, what do you mean? Women have all the rights? No, we don't. But you can't know that if you're not a woman.
So which ones don't you have, though, that would be helpful to have a list then?
Well, that's a long list. It's a long list. And if you go to a court of law, women are still not treated fairly. The rape laws have changed. Women, I mean, the Me Too movement has created a lot of shift, but women are still not going forward with their claims because they're being fired. They're being harassed. So we still don't have an equal and fair system that supports both all genders and all people evenly. That whole guilty or innocent until proven guilty thing, that doesn't fly for everybody. So it's a very long list. Linda says it's a very long list. So, I mean, it is a long list, but just like with messaging, you know, we're given messages as we grow up about being a woman or being a man or being bi or tri or trans or whatever. We're given messages about those things. And if you're not a woman, you can't know the messages that women are given growing up. Men are shocked at how women are taught from the time we're little kids that we have, when we carry our keys, that we into a parking lot, we always carry a key between our fingers in case we need a weapon. Why? Have you ever thought of doing that?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, but you're a karate guy. That doesn't count.
I mean,
but most men aren't taught that.
I think we can't know what another person is thinking. So there's always going to be differences and similarities. I mean, we've seen examples of cultural beliefs propagated that are not in favor of women, propagated by women. So it's very difficult to change. But change is occurring at a blistering pace. I think it's coming along just great.
I think that, you know, the reality is that patriarchy, which has ruled our cultures for a very long time, has definitely had a negative influence on both men and women. It's a harmful construct, and so it creates some havoc with how men and women navigate and what we believe. And so the Conscious Living show is really about kind of pausing and saying, all right, well, how do these beliefs affect me? What is really happening with my belief model and how I'm treating other women? I mean, women have been slut shaming other women for a long time.
Right.
And we're just now kind of becoming aware of, you know, that's not cool. You know,
right.
We've got to stop that.
If you want to change something and you're moving towards something that's truly good, you want to have as much of a consensus as you can. So if you have men, if you're dividing people up, men and women, you want to have as many of those men on your side as possible. So men starting to embrace some of the feminine concepts is really good. I mean, it's really good.
They're human concepts, though. I mean, I think that the reality is that we're all human beings, and having men on our side, I would think men would want women on their side.
This is where you can see we have great discussions, but you have to start off with a certain set of concepts and not keep changing things on me. Are we talking about masculine and feminine? Or are we egalitarian? So about the time I say I like some of the women's concepts, you say, well, that's a human concept.
Right. Well,
so let's quit talking about men and women's concepts.
Right.
Let's just talk about human concepts.
Okay, I'm in for that.
All right.
I like that.
So
we're on the same page. Equity and equality.
Because I think if you start to make it competitive, and then when we try to compete and go along, you change it again. We're going, well, okay, I don't get this. I don't understand. And you need our support. It's your job to help us understand.
We need our support. We need everybody's support. And, you know, it's really a matter of it's really a matter of trying to have a compassionate understanding of why we feel the way we feel and what we're doing with that. And so the more we can have these conversations and express where we come from and what we believe, then we can, maybe we can come to some deeper understanding.
I'm curious about what your list is there. So
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about equality. And, you know, when we talk about gender or sexuality or, you know, equity and equality, those are kind of playful words. I like to play with those words, you know, because equity is really fairness and equality is how we deliver that fairness. And so we really want to make sure that people feel, all people feel like they have a fair shot at the life that they desire.
Right.
I mean, that's freedom, right? I mean, that, to me, that's freedom. When we have the freedom to express, explore, and live our lives on terms that aren't hurting anybody else, but they are terms that are true to who we are, not having other people, you know, criticize us for who we are and how we think. That's a fair and equitable society. And I think we'd all get along a lot better.
Fair and equitable. Love it.
Fair and equitable. All right, so we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about workplace guidelines in terms of what's necessary now to make a company or a business really blossom and function as on the top of their game. So we're going to take a little break. This is The Conscious Living Show. You can find us on YouTube, The Conscious Living Show, and we'll be right back.